Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for July 30th, 2023. That's Cooper. And I had a really weird reading week this week since I started out the week not reading at all. And then I started things and DNF things, maybe not fully DNF, like more soft DNFs. Things I'm just not sure what I want to do with. And then I started back into a series that I meant to read last year. And then I also picked up the first book in a series just randomly that I wanted to read, and that really worked for me. And then I picked up another first book in a series that didn't really work for me overall, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that one yet. So it was kind of a weird reading week overall. I think I read still, I didn't read a lot, but I read fair. And I didn't listen to any audiobooks. I just been listening to music in my car. I think I burnt myself out with all the audiobooks I did when I was rereading last week and the week before. So, I think I just needed a break from audiobooks. I'm hoping today I can pick up an audiobook because I'm going to be in the car for over an hour and a half, maybe closer, almost 2 hours. I'm going down to my parents' house. My cousin is coming through with her husband as they're driving to Washington. They live in LA. And so they're driving through after seeing her parents, or my aunt and uncle, earlier this week, and then last week, and then they're going to come and stay at my parents' house tonight, and then drive on to Washington. And so I took the day off so that I could go down there tonight to see them, because I haven't seen them in quite a while, and so I can go hang out with her. She and I are like 6 weeks apart in age, so we're the same age. So I want to go hang out with her at least a little bit because I haven't seen her in a while. And I'm not sure I'm going to see her during this holiday season from the way that they rotate where they go. So I'm pretty sure I might not see her. So I thought I better go see her now while I can. So I'm looking forward to that. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to read an audiobook or not on the way. We'll see. So we're going to talk about the books that I finished, the ones I'm in the middle of. Also, all the books that I might soft DNF. Because I started them and I'm not sure I want to continue them. I just don't know if I'm in the mood for any of them after I started them, and they're not bad enough that I want to DNF forever. It's more just I don't feel like them right now. And then we'll talk about the books I think I'm going to read in the next week. If you guys saw my video yesterday for my August TBR, if not, please watch it. Anyway, but I talk about how I'm going to switch things up. I'm going to do vlogs for August and do weekly reading vlogs instead of this Sunday video. I'm going to have a vlog up next Sunday for the week and see how that goes. And I'm going to play in August a little bit with that format and see if I like to maybe switch it up in the future of, regular weeks like this and then other ones where I have vlogs. I don't know. I don't do enough vlogging, and I just thought it'd be an interesting way to try it. So we're going to try it in August is my test month. I also don't know what I'm going to read really through the month of August. So I brought back a spinner wheel to kind of help me with that. I did spin the wheel for that, and I will show what I'm going to start. Hopefully on the 1st, we'll see how it goes. I have a little hope of actually of how it's going to go since it's on my self-destruct list. Anyway, so we will get to that in a second. So I've had a great opening. Cooper's already settled down. So let's start talking about the books that I have read. So at some point I decided I had put these books down that I wanted to get back to the series. I didn't put it on my list of, series about series, but when I was going through all my series, or I've been looking at that quite a bit. Like I said, I'm in the process of making a series tracker, which isn't done yet. I haven't had time to work on it, but I started it. But there is a series that I read one book to because it was from a writer that I follow, Katie Robert, and I just didn't read the other books in the Peculiar Taste Kickstarter series that we bought last year through the Kickstarter. So I had read The Demon's Bargain by Katie Robert, but I never went and read the other 6 fantasy book, or they're kind of they're mostly urban fantasy, most of them except for one, which I'll talk about. stories that have to do with all kind of related slightly to this thing called the shadow market, where, you know, people go during the Halloween time, and you can make deals and you can get stuff that you don't get to do for the rest of the year. And they're all creatures from other places. You know, it's very paranormal in that way. The Demon's Bargain, again, I really enjoyed because it's part of the Deal with the Demon series as well. So of course I read that one when I first got it, but I haven't read the other ones. So I did go through and I did read a few of them. The first one, is The Death God Sacrifice by Jenny Nordback. And I really enjoyed this. This one had to do with, kind of like, it was a sacrifice, as in somebody had to be sacrificed to open, the shadow market due to, you know, supernatural forces kind of thing. And so people were vying for the power to be the one in order to awake, you know, to open the market. And because again, these are all very sexy paranormals, most of these. So this one was a good one. I liked the way it was because it had the main character as a sister of Medusa. And the story in here was really an interesting twist on the Medusa tale, kind of in there, because again, we don't get her, but we get her sister in the aftermath of something that happened. And Perseus is in here, and it was really interesting. And then the way it actually ended in a way that I do want to try to see if I can find if she has the follow-up to this that does talk more about the Medusa, because it was really interesting. Again, that this character was the sister of, and her story, and you know, with the death god and everything. It was really good. And then there's this side, you know, another book that I would like to, maybe hopefully there's another novella somewhere. So I'm going to look for that. But I really did enjoy that, just because it was good sexy times, and I liked the stuff with Medusa and then this death god and their relationship. It was kind of funny. It was just, I mean, it was funny, you know, in a possessive way. Anyway, it was funny. I liked it. And then I went on to read the Hellmouth Guardians Lover by Adriana Herrera. So I've never read anything by this author either. So a lot of these were new to me, except for the Katie Robert, of course. So the ones in this, that's probably why I put it off, because I hadn't read any of them, but I did want to try them. So again, they're all really pretty covers in this. I did read these fit on I had e-copies as well, so I actually read them on my Kindle. But this one, this is my least favorite so far. Well, obviously I have the ones I finished. This is a second chance romance about the Hellmouth Guardians and their sentinels, and they are protecting the world from these Hellmouths kind of thing. And one is the sentinel who is watching out for the guardian, who can seal up these holes in the world so that, you know, demons don't fly, you know, come into the world. And so again, this is again around the time around Halloween and stuff that happens. So the sentinel, 5 years before, made a decision after they were caught cavorting with each other kind of thing. They were not supposed to have a sexual relationship, but they did. And they had a really bad, what do I want to say, job or whatever, you know, like they went and fixed something and they were caught. And so he left her. He stayed with the order that was doing did all that, but she was kind of kicked out. And so she has this, like, she's angry at him for what that had happened. And then, so he's coming back to ask for help because his new partner has been kidnapped and there's going to be a Hellmouth that's going to open up. And so it's definitely a second chance romance, which is not my favorite. I really detest most second chance romances. So this was already going to be not a high one for me. I had issues with the, you know, reasoning behind some of the stuff, or why he left, you know, then didn't talk to her afterwards, you know, the whole miscommunication thing. And then, but this again had really great sexy times. I would say that made up for a lot of that, but it was one of my least favorites in here because I had trouble actually getting through it all the way because I was kind of mad at them because of their communication, due to what happened 5 years before that. And and stuff. And then I kind of felt like it was a little rushed, them deciding to be back together, and you know, like, you know, happy ever after endings. Anyway, point is, not one of my favorites, but I think people who like second chance romances would like it a lot better than I do, because he does work for it. Anyway, but I didn't like that one as well. And then I went on to read the, this one's a little harder to see, the Vixens Deceit by Nikki Sloan. So this one actually is more of a horror in a haunted house sort of way. So it wasn't like brutal or, you know, or not bloody or anything like that. It's more just, it had the vibes for a haunted house more than for some of the other ones I said were more, you know, as I said, they're more, to me, those are more paranormal, as in shifters and vampires and other creatures kind of thing. And then this one was more haunted house. So, you know, it had that kind of ghostly element. So it's a little, I think it was a little different. It just felt more, the way this was written was the most contemporary of all of them. So I didn't have as much trouble with this as I thought I would, because I guess I went into thinking of this as a haunted house horror, you know, like a Darcy Coates kind of thing. Cause that's kind of how it felt like to me. So we have this reporter, which is a check mark against it because I do not like reading about reporters, but he comes into this situation. His magazine has sent him to this haunted house extravaganza kind of thing that this company puts on called The Void, and it's the tickets cost thousands of dollars for you to be able to experience this, and it's kind of a deep immersion, and you go in and you don't know what's really real or not, but you have to follow the instructions and not talk, and it's really scary little situations you have to live through, and people pay for this. Like, I'm like, I don't understand it, but this reporter is forced to go because the guy who had set up to do it, the interview for or the article for the magazine, he had a car accident, I think, or something he got out of commission. So this guy got sent as a last resort. He was the only one who had time around Halloween, and that didn't have, you know, didn't have time. It didn't have any other plans, I guess I want to say. So he's kind of nerdy in some ways. He is much more of a nonfiction, or much more of a reporter, as in true events kind of thing. So he's not really into this whole entertainment thing, but he goes. And we follow with him through the haunted house, this castle in Scotland. So that's the only thing that kind of connects to everything, because the shadow market is taking place in Scotland. Really doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the series. It just, that's the closest it got. It was Halloween, and it was in Scotland. Anyway, this one got really creepy on certain things that happened. I think that's why I would classify this more as a horror than I would even a paranormal, just because of the stuff that happened in here. This one, as I said, considering that it was a reporter and it was more contemporary, I like this one quite a bit more than some of the other ones. I would not say it was perfect or anything, but I still enjoyed it more for the ride, what happened, and things that happened when he was in the void, and the things that really happened, and things that were maybe a little different. I don't know. This company was weird. Anyway, and again, the sexy times are really, well, there's not very much of it in this one. There's more, it's not, yeah, I would say that this one had kind of the least of it. I mean, it had a really good one in there, so it works. He, you know, meets one of the employees there, which is, yeah, anyway, it was just kind of, it was a good one for what it was. And I was surprised at how much I liked that when I found out it was a contemporary. So, hold on. And then I also read The Captive Merman's Promise by Zoe Castile. So, this one, followed, this was actually at the shadow market, and this, woman comes whose family had been cursed many generations before, that none of the women in that family, their loves would survive. Like, they would die after declaring that they were in love, the man was in love with the woman, or the woman was in love with the woman, didn't matter. Whoever was the love interest, they would die before, very quickly, or very accidentally, horribly kind of thing. And so she takes on, somehow she is able with their brujas, and so she takes on all the curses for her family, so her sisters and cousins and her, you know, mother and grandmother can find love again because she's taken on the curse. And so she's banished herself from her family for, I think, a decade or so. And so, but she's starting to feel some pains from having taken on this curse, because again, she doesn't want to fall in love with anybody, get anybody close, due to something happened in her childhood, and, you know, all her relatives and kind of things too, you know, things that happened to people in the past. So she is, goes to this, I don't know if it's like a wizard or something, in charge of this, kind of a zoo kind of ish thing that's put on during the shadow market. And she goes there to kind of maybe bargain away 10 years of her life to get the curse lifted. And while she's there, trying to make her decision about if that's what she wants to do, she sees a merman in a tank that he's bargained away his life in a horrible deal. And then it's they're getting together because, you know, things happen. Anyway, but point is, I really like this one. Again, this is very much more the paranormal side. I really enjoyed this one, and at sexy times. It was fun. With the way that they did them, where she did the mermans, or how, you know, mermans and mermaids, you know, how their physiology worked. It was really interesting. I really liked this one for that. It was fun. So, but I did finish that one as well. And then, just on a whim, I picked up The House Witch by Deli Lim Hawk. I don't know how you say their name. I don't know, actually their gender. This is, an indie pub, cozy fantasy, that I think there's like 3 parts, or 3 parts to this story. And then I think that continues on with or they're in the middle of writing more on it. I know there's at least one other book out that's kind of I think is in the same world, but it's a standalone. And then I think there's another series that's coming, by this author. Anyway, I picked up this one. The House Witch is following Finlay, who, comes to the king and queen's castle of this country. And he has taken over as head chef for the whole castle. And he is a grumpy, curmudgeon young man of like about 30 or so, but he's a very good cook, and he loves doing stuff due to the home because he is a house witch. So there's magic, but it's, the witches, are one aspect, and then there are mages who are different. One's more nature, one's more like learned, they're different kind of magics and stuff. So but his is kind of a offshoot of the witch's magic, that makes him very much a witch that is home-based, which means he can defend and do things within the home, but he can't really do anything when he's away from his base of operation kind of thing. And so it's an interesting concept with magic being based in a place, and then it's him like growing his power by interacting with people that he meets there, and the people who come to kind of open up him to not being such a grumpy guy. And then again, there is a love story in here as well, but mostly this is very much, I'm pretty sure the trilogy is just gonna keep going. I'm hoping it just goes in the same timeline, because where this ended, I know the next book, yes, I bought the next one anyway. The point is the next book, like it starts right where this one ends. So I'm pretty sure it's just a continuation, that he just broke it up into parts. Because again, it's just the House Witch 1 and House Witch 2 and House Witch 3. So anyway, I really, really enjoyed this. This is a great cozy fantasy. I think it's short chapters. It's a big cast of characters, which is one of my favorite things in fantasy stories. And you're getting to know the world a little bit as it grows, and people get to know each other, and then the relationships between those in royalty and those who are considered peasants and knights are all kind of intermixed. Just to show a group of people who are working to try to stop a war that is coming. And I really enjoyed this. I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. And again, this was kind of I bought this earlier this year with a couple other cozy fantasies, which I've read, I think 2 of the ones so far that I bought. I think I bought 4 and I have 2 more to read. So anyway, but after I finished this, I bought the next 2 books to finish the trilogy at least. So I'm probably gonna, you know, pick that next one up at some point, but you know, that's kind of how that is. Okay, so that's other things that oh no, I did finish one last night. Sorry. Oh, geez, I knew I was gonna do that. Sorry. Okay, so I had KU for a couple months and I only read like 2 or 3 things on it. But last night, before I canceled it, and it goes away today, so last night I tried a couple of books that I had on there just to try them to see if I wanted to buy physical copies or buy ebook copies of them. This one I actually read before going to bed so that I could at least try this one, because I got into it and I really liked it, but in the end it disappointed me. So that is, oh, you can't even see it. It's called Wild Scottish Night by Trisha O'Malley. So this is more of a kind of myth, folklore, kind of paranormal. So we're following, oh my gosh, I just read this last night and my brain just shut down. Sophie, sorry. Anyway, her uncle has just passed away, and he was very, very important in her life. And the first couple of chapters were fantastic because it was so funny. His funeral was hilarious. Anyway, it was like the best funeral scene I've read in quite a while. Anyway, it was just funny. And then the reading of the will, and she is gifted this Scottish castle. So they live in California, and she is gifted this Scottish castle that she has to go to immediately to help them restore the order. She thinks she's going there because she's a marketing manager, that she's going there to restore order to this tourist attraction in Scotland. And when she gets there, she realizes there's magic involved, and it's restoring the order, which is a group of people who help to protect this the stone of truth. And at the point that she gets there, the town is being slowly dying out, or people are leaving because the Kelpies are becoming very aggressive because the order has disappeared. And so she is there to reestablish the magic and make the Kelpies go away. Anyway, this was really good for most of the book. I'm going to say this is a book that I really enjoyed. I would say 3/4 of it. And I was sitting there going, well, I'm probably going to read the next book. I think it's a couple, I don't remember how many books are in the series, but I'm sure it's because they're adding people for the order. We'll get their love stories as we go. Because again, this is very much a romance. And I liked as I said, I liked her coming over, and then Lachlan, who was the one who was kind of trying to keep it all together, but was failing because he didn't quite believe in everything, even though he'd been brought up there, but he has things in his past. And so they both had things in their past that were kind of bad. And again, they were very highly attracted to each other and all that stuff, you know, all the romance stuff. So, and there were some good action scenes in here from that I was kind of surprised about, things that, we got to do, that happened. But the 3rd act breakup, which again, happens in a lot of romances, was the most ridiculous. Not in what started it. It was more of the way they both handled it. And I was not happy. I was just the whole time going, oh, I hate this. I hate what happened. I was really enjoying this. And then I think she went out of character with what she did and decided to do. And I think he was kind of, I don't know, I don't think he didn't actually do much, but it was like more just he backed off a little bit, and it kind of made sense for him, but I also, because that seems kind of human. Hers was just like an overreaction, and I mean, I got it to a certain extent, except I think it just went too far for me, and I didn't buy it. So I don't know if I'm going to continue with this series. It was good. I mean, as I said, I think it was good. I think if you like Scottish myth and stuff, and with some paranormal elements, and there was a great ghost. I'm not going to say what kind of creature it was, but it was funny. That was one of the good parts. As I said, there were some really good things about this, and I'm really kind of disappointed that that third act, that thing at the happened that I didn't like the way that it happened. And in a romance, I know a lot of times it happens. I like it when it's more an external thing, not so much a misunderstanding thing. And again, I just didn't like the way she reacted. I made notes. It just didn't make sense to me, to her, you know, for her character. So it threw it off for me. So anyway, I didn't enjoy that as much as I wanted to. So I don't know if I'm going to continue that series. So we'll see. That might be one of those series that I just read the first book and that's it. Well, but I don't have KU anymore. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of the books that I've started and then I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go through these real quick, just because I've talked so much already. I did try The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I read 30 pages one day and I'm not sure I want to continue right now. I think again, I don't know if it's my mood. I was having trouble because the first chapter is written in first person and we get to know that character a little bit and was kind of unsure. I was unsure about if I liked the character much. But then the ending of that chapter got really interesting. And then the next chapter we meet somebody else and they have like an amnesia moment. And so I don't know what's going on. I think it's still too early in the book. I just think the writing style was throwing me off. And I think I will come back to this at some point. I just don't think this was the time. As I said, I was all over the place trying things. What was the other? Oh, and then I did try to get back into Jade City by Fonda Lee. So I reread the beginning. Again, I'd read 20 pages before. So I got to page 60. But again, I read this Saturday and Friday. And yeah. And then Saturday, I didn't want to pick it up. So I don't know what it is about Jade City. I think I think I've tried this too many times to get into it to try it because I was on my list of series that I wanted to do this year. But I think I just have to wait another year. I think I'm going to put it down and then I will come back to it maybe in a little bit. I don't know. There's just something, I don't know if it's the hype behind it. I don't know if it's because I was stupid and bought the other 2 books to this. So I have this pressure that I want to read this series. But I think I'm just going to I can't do this right now. As much as it was really interesting and I was starting to get to know the characters, I still don't want to pick this up after I started it. So that one's another one I'm gonna just put back on my shelf. I'll get to it. It's not again, these are both soft DNFs and I think they have to do with mood. So the 2 that are potentially our DNFs, I'm not sure if I'm going to finish The Fae Queen Captive by Sierra Simone. It's not because it's written badly. It's because this is a Fae story. And I realize now what I don't like about the Fae stories. And it's not all the Fae stories. It's just, you know, the ones that have to do with bargains. The ones that people have to bargain. And, you know, the Faes take that very seriously. And I think I've just that's never been one of my favorite things is the manipulation that's gone into by the way you say something. I guess, again, I'm very big on wordsmithing. I understand because, you know, writing for fun. I get that. It's just, but I just, maybe because I just feel like it's a manipulation. And again, I don't like that. So it's not, I don't think it's the writer's fault at all. It's really interesting so far. We're following an archaeologist who, you know, PhD student kind of thing. She, it's Halloween night. All of her friends go to this fair or market that they can see in the distance. And she saw lights on the hill in Scotland where there was their dig. They're going to leave the next day. But she's afraid that people have gone out there to mess it up or do something, you know, to disrupt it. So she goes out there because she's the last of the people around. So she goes to check and she is kidnapped by the Fae. And then it's her, that's her, you know, she's then what happens when she meets the Fae Queen. And so I got, what did I get to? I got to 53 pages and it's only 160. And I'm just not sure I'm going to get back to this. So I don't know if it's a full DNF yet. I just, again, as I said, I don't know if I can push through it. I still have it on my Kindle. So I have it with me if for some reason I'm somewhere and I have my Kindle and I need to read something, I can read this. It's just sitting there. So it's not like it's going away. So I might come back to this, but right now it's kind of a soft DNF. I don't know. I just don't know if I like it enough to read it, which is fine because it's, you know, it's 6 stories that was in that Kickstarter. And if one of them I don't finish, I think I'm fine with it. But, you know, I'm gonna see, I might be able to make myself read it. I'm just not sure it's gonna be right now. But anyway, and then I did try First Grave on the Right by Darlinda Jones, first book in the Charlie it's a Davidson series. Yeah, so this is one of the tri-chapter urban fantasy paranormal, you know, urban fantasies that I tried a couple of years ago in tri-chapters, and I really enjoyed the first chapter, and I would agree. I started it over and reread it. I got to 106, I think it was last Sunday. So, okay, so this is following Charlie, who is, she's a private investigator, but she also is a Grim Reaper. So she helps ghosts, so she can see ghosts and stuff and help them kind of get closure and send them on. And it's a little different from a lot of the other Reapers that I've read in other books. So again, it's her little, this twist is a little different, the things that she can do. But she has, my problem with this book is that it's already going in a direction that I'm not enjoying. Like, I like, the mystery of who is, she is called out to a murder, and the ghost showed up at her house before she went to the crime scene. But then she helps the cops because her uncle is a cop. Her father used to be a cop. He's retired and he owns a bar. And so he's gotten out of it, but he knows what she can do. And so her uncle knows as well. And so he calls her out. And so she is able to give them details about what the ghosts say. And so people kind of look at her kind of weird. She's kind of a weird consultant to the cops. And there's this one, kind of another bounty. He's like a bounty hunter. I don't know. It's like a Skip something. I don't remember what it was. I liked him because he was really grumpy in the beginning because he didn't want to believe. And then he kind of starts to believe. And then I don't know what happened because again, I'm only 106 pages in. And then, but then there's this other aspect of something very sexually that's happening to her. That is kind of paranormal in aspect that we don't know what's going on yet with that. And so my problem is that it has her connecting to something that happened in her teens that to me was a really horrible episode. And there's these things, she's not thinking the things that I would be thinking at this time in her adult life where this is happening as a result of it is connected to that other incident. And I was having trouble connecting with her due to that. Like, I don't feel like she's thinking about the ramifications of some of the things that has happened and how gross it is to me, how it is. I don't know, to me it's just gross. And I'm afraid to read this to find out if that it goes in a different direction or if that is the love interest in this series. And I'm afraid, because again, it's like I don't know, is it a 12 or 15 book series? I don't remember. It's quite a few books. So I don't know. As I said, I read 100 pages last Sunday, 106 pages, and I haven't picked it up since. So I don't know if I'm going to DNF this, or this is another one I might put back on my shelf, or I might come back to it. So I don't know. I know this must be a good series because a lot of people read it. I just don't know if I can get through book 1. So if you guys have read this series, let me know if you think I should continue. I mean, you don't need to spoil me or anything, but just tell me if you think I should continue reading, if it's worth it. Because right now, I'm not sure it's worth it. So, I don't know. So that one, I'm not sure about. Okay, so, what I'm going to read in the next week, I have no idea. I don't know what I'm going to read later today. So, I do want to point out that my TBR, I pulled or spun for a self-destruct book, which I'm going to try The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is one of those books that's been on my shelf for years that I knew about it for a long time before I got a library copy or, library book sale copy. So I didn't pay much for this. This is one of those books that is very much, you like it or you hate it. And so I'm not sure where I'm going to land on this. I just know it has to do with this night circus and two people who I think are trying to compete against each other, but then they fall in love or something. I don't remember how it goes. Point is, I know that the writing style is one of the things that I could really like or I really dislike. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I'm going to try that this week. You'll see that in the vlog. But that was my first spinner wheel pick. So I'm going to start that probably around the 1st. But because we have a couple days left, I'm not sure what I'm going to read. So I might start the next, the House Witch 2, because I really want to continue this story, because again, as I said, book 1 ended, and then this starts right where book 1 ended. So I do want to continue on with this series, because I did buy those, so I could read that. My audiobooks I have from the library right now, 10,000 Stitches by Olivia Atwater. I'm not sure I want to do this by audio or physically, so I might try the audiobook and then decide, because then I might just read this physically. I don't know. We'll see. So this is Fairy Tale Regency Fairy Tale series. Half a Soul was the first book in the series. They're separate novels in that world. So this has to do with a maid who I think falls in love with her, with someone who's of a different class than her, and then she bargains, I think, with the Fae, which again, we'll see how this goes. To make him, I think he has to do 10,000 stitches on on his favorite jacket, and then he'd help her. And then it just kind of might not go the way that they plan. But, so I do want to read that. And I also have Keeper of Enchanted Rooms on audio by Charlie and Holmberg. So this again is another one that's kind of like a cozy fantasy, but I hear that this is much more, it might be closer to a haunted house, kind of, maybe not a horror, but you know, just more, a little darker than a cozy fantasy. I'm not sure. But anyway, I have that on audio as well as the physical, so that could go either way as well. So I don't know what I'm going to do. So we'll see. As I said, I'm going to start I'm going to try the Night Circus probably on the 1st, just because that'll be the start of everything. But I thought we could spin the wheel one more time, because then maybe if that doesn't work out, then I know kind of the next book I might pick out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I'm just going to spin. What the heck? So this is my spinner. In my TBR, you will see me talk about this. So we'll just go ahead and spin and see what happens. So, series about series. So this can be one of the books that is on the books, the list that I have that I want to read. So I do have a few books that I could read. So anyway, that'll probably be, we will probably see about that, what happens. So anyway, that's kind of it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry, that was kind of long, but I did actually read quite a few things. They were short, but at least I did get through some books, but I have no idea how later today is going to go, or even or the rest of this week. So we'll see what happens. And we'll see how the vlogging goes. I don't know. You'll see, as I said, there'll probably be more cats in there. You'll actually see Truman, which, you know, he's elusive. On these, he just doesn't show up until, you know, he wanders around us. You just don't see him. Anyway. So, anyway, that's it. Later this week, I should have up my, July book haul, which is a little bigger than I planned. But anyway, that's it. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.